So, I'm going to edit over some gaming channel videos. And it's not going to take that long. I can't imagine I'll be doing that for more than like an hour or two. However, there was something really interesting that I kind of wanted to talk about here. That I just discovered as I was laying in bed lazily, not having completely woken up yet, and on Reddit. The Last of Us 2, their recent trailer, has been accused of plagiarism. And I'm kind of glad that this story is out at this point, because it kind of ties into some things that I was saying about the Kimba controversy. Now, I went through that whole section of Kimba talking about how coincidence does exist, and how there are going to be similarities found within separate works of art, especially if what that art is doing isn't completely original. If it's not all that unique. And so I immediately became very interested in this. And I didn't see the newest trailer for the Last of Us Part 2 until just, 20 minutes ago. Apparently, the song that they featured in the trailer, it has Ellie singing the song on guitar, the character Ellie. And Lotte Kesner, I don't know how to pronounce her name, she also had that exact same song on guitar. This song is a cover song. So the previously existing song is this. And we're not going to play any more for copyright. So that's the tone of the original song that was being covered. And then this, it says soundtrack full, but this is just somebody who assumed that it was the Lotte Kesner song. So like this isn't, I don't even think this is like a part of the actual soundtrack. So let's just look if I can find the yeah. So let's see. Yeah, 7 years ago, 100,000 views. So not like.
There he is.
And these views might only be because of the Last of Us trailer. So we don't know how popular this artist was. But okay. So they transformed the tone of this song.
Hi.
Hey Salamancer, I'm definitely going to want a highlight of this because I think that this is pretty interesting.
Gotcha.
And it's pretty topical too. It wouldn't be that long to create a highlight for. I'm only going to spend like 5 minutes talking about this, so if you want to publish this like as soon as you can, then great. Anyway, so she transformed the tone and experience of that song in her cover song to this.
I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me.
And then we're just gonna, for reference. And then
Get this feeling I'm in motion. Sudden sense of liberty.
so she completely transformed the experience of the song, changed the instruments, changed the tone, even changed the key of the song. Yeah, just one more time.
Get this feeling I'm in
Yeah, completely different tone. Anyway, Last of Us 2 trailer dropped. Ellie is playing a cover of that same song on the guitar.
Rated M for mature.
I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me.
And it sounds identical to the cover song. Now, there have been instances of this same type of thing happening before. There was a gigantic post on Reddit where somebody took a classical song, I forget from which composer, but like complete public domain classical music, and they turned it into kind of like this modernized, it had like a bit of a, pop-ish beat to it. And they were complaining that I think a beer commercial, some sort of commercial, they're like, they stole my song. But the fact that it was a cover made it a lot more murky. And the fact that in that particular instance, what they had transformed the song into, that like poppy sort of thing, wasn't a very unique thing. Like if somebody else wanted to transform that song, which is public domain, into something poppy, they would have come out with the exact same thing. Not much about the original was changed. They basically just added a beat and had like slightly different instruments. And so there wasn't really anything all that unique. And so in that scenario, I was quick to be like, okay, this is bullshit. Like you can't accuse them of plagiarizing your cover of a song when you didn't really add anything all that unique to the song. Now, in terms of this, just like that classical song was turned into something poppy, this was turned into something a bit more kind of like melancholic, and a bit sad and slow, right? And they also changed the key of the song. Now, if we listen to these two tracks, the trailer track and this,
Sudden sense of liberty. So emotion, sudden sense of liberty.
it sounds very, very similar. There are very, very slight differences, but it is kind of weirdly coincidental that the original track is not in the same key as these two tracks. These two tracks are both in identical keys, and this one is not. Now, if this was all there was to it, I would be saying like, okay, well, there's not really that much of a case here, because if you wanted to transform that 80s song into a slow, melancholic guitar song, a guitar was already a thing in the previous trailers for Last of Us 2. Like, it's definitely a part of like the tone and theme that they're going for. And then B, the guitar that is written is really not all that unique or original in terms of like recreating the track into something slower and more melancholic. I would say that this is like a very basic way to do it. However, you could also consider it to be very coincidental that these two tracks are in the same key. And even at that point, I would say, okay, that's probably just a coincidence. What gets me here, what really gets me here, is at the end of this track. Okay, here we go. Listen to the vocals. That melody is something new that was created for this. That is something unique. The way the guitar was played was not something unique. That was basically just like converting it into a slower guitar song. That melody right there, that was unique. And what do we hear at the end of the Last of Us 2 trailer? The exact same melody. That's what gets me. That's what really fucking gets me. That is something that is actually unique to this track. That melody is not found anywhere within this whole track. It's not found within any of the instruments. And like, I've only listened to it once. Maybe I missed it, but like, that's what's really getting me here, is that particular melody of this cover, right? And then only in the exact same key, a key that this song was not in, we get the exact same melody. The melody was not in that song, original song either. So I'm not saying 100% for sure that they ripped it off, but my impression is that they did. So this is what separates all of those things that I was talking about in the Kimber review. All of the examples I gave, there were some similarities, but the biggest differences between them, like, they're completely different experiences. We can't, if you compare Joe Satriani's song to Coldplay's song, like, they even have similar melodies and similar chord progressions, but the entire experience of the song is different. And you could reasonably assume, okay, like, these two things could have been created independently. But in this case, the key is the same. The guitar is almost identical. The tone is the exact same. It's the exact same experience. And then the one deciding factor for me in terms of me thinking that they ripped it off is that melody that doesn't exist in the original. Now, this creates a bit of a legal nightmare. Because if, let's say, Sony or Naughty Dog, or whoever is responsible for the music in this trailer, if, let's say, they heard this cover song and they wanted to include it in the trailer, I believe, and I'm not saying this with 100% certainty, but I believe that they would not only have to pay royalties or a license for this artist, but also the original artist as well. However, because this is a cover song, there is a legal argument to make that Sony or Naughty Dog would only have to pay the original artist and not this one, because this artist, Lotte Kesner, is using this original track, and they have a license to perform their cover of the original track. Right? And so, I mean, if life was fair, if Naughty Dog and Sony were moral people and not soulless corporations, then they would be paying royalties to both of them, especially her, because it seems like they took the most from her, right? Rather than this. Like, she turned it into something completely new. And then Sony or Naughty Dog decided to take from this cover. Realistically, I mean, like, it would be fair. It would be moral. It would be just for her to receive royalties for this song, including in this track. However, that might not be what would get decided in court. And I don't even think that she should take it to court, honestly, unless she has like a really, really, really good lawyer, because what she created in her song was based off of this song. So she can't sell this as an original work because it is still a cover, right? And if she can't sell it as an original work because it's a cover of this track, then legally there's an argument to make that Naughty Dog would only have to pay the original because that's, you know, theirs is also a cover of the original by technicality. It does piss me off, though, that she was apparently not given any royalties for this. She made a tweet. Hey, are you aware that the Truth Faith cover you put in your Last of Us 2 trailer is a replica of my cover that came out 10 years ago? I wrote original parts not in the original song that are copied exactly by whoever covered it. I'm heartbroken. That fucking sucks. And I'm honestly shocked that Naughty Dog, with their PR nightmare right now over the release of this particular game, that they would decide to do something like this. Yeah, like, no, I 100% believe that Naughty Dog has a license to the original. But what they took from the most was not the original, it was the cover. The cover completely transformed the song into something new. And then Naughty Dog just copied and pasted the transformation. And it's a real legal gray area, and that's what sucks so much about it. I don't understand why they would want to do this when they've got such a PR nightmare right now. So comments and likes and dislikes turned off. That might have nothing to do with the cover. But why would they do that? You know? It really seems as like I just can't get over I can't get over that, because that is entirely unique. And this is the biggest separation between all of those examples that I provided in Kimba and all of those legal examples that I gave of other works being copied in that gigantic section. Those works, when you really break them down, what was supposedly copied were things that were not all that unique. But in this case, what was copied seems to be unique to this cover, and that's what's really getting me. Yeah. Like everything about it, everything about the track is the same. It's the same experience. The guitar is slightly different, very slightly different, but the same rhythm, the same key. And the original track was not in that key. The original track was not in that key. Both of these tracks are the same key. Both of these tracks, same instruments, same rhythm, same melody. And then the humming at the end, which is completely unique to these tracks and not found in the original. The humming is completely unique. And just, they're the same, right? So why would they do that? Why on earth would they do that and not like, come on, they have to have some money to pay license fees. You know, they probably wouldn't even have had to pay her much. Why would they do that? So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I found it really interesting, and I thought that it would be appropriate to provide an example of something that would lead me to believe that it's actually copyright infringement. However, if we're going to use the term copyright infringement, it might not be if it's not decided in a court of law that it is. Because like I said, it's a huge gray area because they're taking from a cover song, and I full I wholeheartedly believe they have the license to the original, which she would also need, which she has, for this, right? I'm assuming she has a license to cover the original. And if Naughty Dog wanted to pay her a license, I'm pretty sure they would also have to pay the original artist. So why would they pay two people when they can just pay one, is the question. I do think it's really unfair, like just out of principle, that they wouldn't pay that they wouldn't pay the artist that they took the most from, right? That's a little annoying.
Thanks for watching, guys. Shout out to my $5 and up patrons: Lemonade Warrior, Pit Wang, Tequila Cinema, Brandon Stuper, Mechadong, Rasmus, Diegesus, Rift, Malav Shah, and Nicky Boy. Not gonna lie, I have this song stuck in my head now. Bye.